a seminarian, I decided I no longer wanted to believe in God. I was training in a hospital, and I still went through the motions while making a final decision to quit. One day, as I walked into a room to visit a Catholic, the other patient in the room cried out, "Hallelujah! Praise Jesus!" I was in no mood for evangelical Christianity, so I merely nodded and went to the bed of the Catholic patient, where I spent most of the time trying to figure out how to get out of the room without having to deal with the holy roller. I stood up and tried to quickly leave the room. I failed. "Reverend, Jesus is wonderful. Come over here and let's talk." I was too polite or cowardly to say, "Listen, lady, I'm just going through the motions until I decide for sure to leave all this God business, so leave me alone." The woman talked about Jesus and how she trusted in him to heal the arthritis that had her totally crippled. She couldn't stand, walk, or use her hands. Whenever she said Jesus was wonderful, I would just say, "Uh-huh." Finally, I was able to escape. As I left, she made me promise to come back in the afternoon. I spent lunch and the class after it dreading facing her again. But a promise is a promise, so I dragged myself back to the ward. Fortunately, when I arrived, there was an emergency, so I had an excuse to not go back to the Bible bouncer. The next time I was at the hospital, I steeled myself to make the visit I hadn't made that afternoon. Sure enough, as soon as I walked into the room, I was greeted with, "Hallelujah! Praise Jesus!" "The other afternoon I kept waiting for you to come, but you didn't. I just kept looking at the chair you sat in and wondered where you were. Then I realized that you were bringing the love of Jesus to someone else. I remembered that when you were here and we talked, the love of Jesus was with us, and that love could heal me and I could walk. So I got up out of this bed to go to the toilet. I saw a nurse in the hall and she said, 'What are you doing out of bed? You can't walk.' And I said, 'The Reverend was here and the love of Jesus was with us, so I can walk.' And the nurse said, 'Oh, okay, but don't overdo it.'" I love that response. 4 days later, I visited the hospital again, this time looking forward to seeing that woman. I saw her all right. She walked up to me in the lobby, thanked me for healing her, and told me she had come to visit patients. What is the relationship between faith and miracle? Certainly the only faith in that hospital room was hers, not mine. Because she believed a miracle could happen. She could walk, and I could believe. God does not force us to accept love. In today's gospel, we hear that Jesus could not perform miracles because people would not believe in him. They were not willing to accept the love God offered them because it came in a form they did not expect. A carpenter? A hometown boy? No wonder they found him too much for them. They wanted something more dramatic, but they got the local carpenter, just as all I got was an old Bible bouncer. That woman believed, and so the love of God could work miracles. What is hope-giving is that her faith was sufficient to cure one without faith. God was willing to work through her faith to heal the two of us. Perhaps that is why we live our faith in a community called church. We need each other's faith in order to believe. We support the weak with our faith, and when we are weak, the community will carry us to the Lord. Even when I doubt, I must hold to that community, even if I think I cannot hold to God. Being with believers puts us at risk of miracles. I still don't know what happened in that hospital room. I know God did something, but I'm not sure what. All I know is that the faith of one made a miracle happen for two, and a woman who could not walk has carried me for more than 40 years.